Troubleshooting's what we got next, but overhearing Mark's conversation just then, let's talk for a second on something else for a second, or a couple of minutes. Ransomware. How many of you have been hit by ransomware?
Only once.
Was it the real ransomware or the fake ransomware?
It was more of they did a crappy job of doing that. It was a antivirus that automatically downloaded on my computer, and I had no idea what it was whenever I was 11 or 12 years old. But what they did was say, hey, all these programs that you have on your computer has a virus containing in it, and we won't let you use it till you pay for, our $30, $40.
So did it really do anything or not?
It did do something. It blocked me out of all my programs and wouldn't let me
Okay.
open up things like the Explorer or anything.
So you really did, okay.
The way I fixed it though was I did a system restore, and that fixed the whole problem.
You did what?
A system restore to another date. I restored the whole system to another date that I had set for.
And it restored it back?
Yeah,
So you had a backup of the system?
pretty much.
Because if you get the message about ransomware, which can be a couple of different things it can tell you, but it's going to tell you that it has encrypted your whole hard drive, and if you don't pay them X number of money, which is usually about $300, that sometimes on that it's put a program in there, it pops up the screen initially on you and actually did nothing else to your machine. And if you'll just go to safe mode and run a good antivirus full scan on it, or like in Avast, go to a boot scan, it'll get rid of it and you're okay, and that it really didn't encrypt anything. There's some of them that are doing that out there. Then there's some of them that actually encrypt your whole drive, and that's the bad one. Because pretty much at that point, whatever you've got on that drive, unless you've got a backup like he did, which is what you should have, remember me telling you that the other day, that you've lost all of the files that it has proceeded to encrypt.
Well, means the beginning files, like you couldn't lost everything.
It's encrypted them, so you can't get into them. And you don't. They tell you that if you pay them the money, that they will send you the code. They may or may not. And you're sending it to some anonymous location through an anonymous method of either using typically green dot card is what they tell you that they want you to get and have it shipped to them via, or that there is some of them using the what's the electronic coin?
Bitcoin?
Huh?
Bitcoin?
Yeah, the Bitcoin. Wanting you to use Bitcoin on it. Well, most people that they attack with it aren't going to have any idea what Bitcoin is.
Okay.
Matter of fact, that might be.
Just an imaginary currency, kind of like a dollar, it's just used strictly for the internet and it's its own currency.
It's a currency on the internet, and that there is a couple of places that are supposed to be keeping track of it, and it's supposed to be the way to going to doing all kinds of purchases, etc. in the future. It's supposed to be highly secure, but there's been some problems with that, and that you buy coins that are virtual coins, not real coins, and then you swap those coins to get different items, services, and products. It's not caught on like they thought it would catch on, and actually with things that MasterCard and Visa and Discover and all of the others are doing now, they're sort of moving you in that direction without really going to virtual coinage on it, but where it's working virtually back to your account. But with the ransomware there, if it does hit on it, a few years ago, they were using some standard keys, and when they cracked down on the first people, caught them, they actually had the keys for a bunch of it, and so for about 6 months thereafter, people were still using the same programs to go out and send out there to attack people's machines with, and they would just have you send a file to them, to an organization out there that had that stuff, and they would send back and tell you what the key, they had the key from it, that they could tell what it was because they'd gotten the key file to the stuff, and you could undo it, but that doesn't work anymore. However, beyond that there is now, Malwarebytes has got a program out there that is supposed to protect you from ransomware. Okay? And it's a beta version special program of Malwarebytes, and you can Google ransomware Malwarebytes and find the program. It's on version 0.9, I think it is now. It is beta. It's been out for a year now.
Do you encrypt the website?
Hmm?
Do you really do anything with the website?
It encrypts everything on your machine that it's looking for in terms of it. Encrypts everything that's data type files. I'm not sure.
Can people specifically like hack a website?
Yeah.
Again?
Mm-hmm. Because they can just hit to the host and hit on it.
How have they done on malware? Is it really? Have they done on Malwarebytes?
Because they can do it with malware to whatever site, that you can have it on your server. You can get viruses and everything on your server or on your PC. But with that one, with the Malwarebytes ransomware one, it's supposed to stop you from getting wiped out by ransomware. From the best I can gather from looking at it and reading about it, that I think what it's doing is that if it all of a sudden we see several files getting encrypted one right after another, it blocks on that process occurring at that point. So that means you still would lose several files, but not lose everything, which is a drastic improvement. And hopefully it's insignificant files, okay? And so that's the approach it appears to be that it's using on it, but they haven't fully released it. And it's supposed to go into the regular Malwarebytes program when they fully release it, but I'm not sure if it will or not, but you may want to consider putting it on there. I've got it running on my machine since last summer when I found out about it, after I'd helped somebody that had gotten actual ransomware on the machine and wiped out, and then I found that out there because I was going, is there any way we can do something to prevent this? I don't know for sure that it really works, because I don't have a ransomware file to run against the machine to see if it does catch. And I haven't seen out there where there is one that you can test with. Viruses, you can actually do some test, that there's test files out there at several sites that you can actually test your antivirus spyware programs, see if they work.
It's weird, but my this is a game computer, but it's not that great. But whenever I first turn it on, it starts lagging, and then right when it cools off, it doesn't lag anymore. It's running normally. It's like when it first starts up, it starts like glitching and lagging, and then it goes away. What is that? Is that a processing problem?
Probably too much stuff running in the background.
That's what it sounds.
There is, you do the MS config and go into the startup.
See what all you've got starting up on it.
Is this thing called Stronghold? I haven't downloaded anything.
Yeah, but you could have a number of things in MS config that start up that you don't realize what all is starting up.
It's just little oddly in things that they add up.
Because every time when you install some different things, they'll add things that run in the background on you that start all up at the beginning. And we'll look at MS config. Should look at it later on in here at some point. We will at some point in any event.
Oh, I tried that already. I typed it in the search box and I click on it and I can fix it.
But you should get MS config, and that you can run it and see what all it's. Actually, if you're on Windows 10, it's not MS config.
I'm on 7. Oh,
If you're on 7, it's MS
yeah,
config.
that's what I have. I didn't know that.
Okay, if you'll just go to run and do MS config, it'll give you the box, and if you go over the startup tab on it, it'll tell you what everything starts up, and you can disable most of those things on that
I
list.
mean, disable strongholds.
Hmm?
I don't know what stronghold. Have you heard that background app before? Stronghold is like a blue symbol is like stronghold.
I don't know.
Online backup.
Oh. If you've got that going on there, there's activity you got of something that's trying to check right there when you start up, and that's going to slow stuff down.
Stronghold online backup?
Probably.
It's an online backup.
Mhm.
What is an online backup?
That it is theoretically probably making a copy of certain things on your machine out there onto the cloud at wherever your backup site is. Somewhere on the cloud at their site, and keeping a copy of your machine there. But I don't know that program specifically, so I don't know exactly on that. All right, so with the ransomware, there is that program that you could be running. I've got it running on mine. I've got it running on a couple other machines. So far, none of them have been hit by ransomware, but I've got it running on a machine that had ransomware hit on it. But and they haven't been hit again. And they got it because they clicked on a link in an email that they shouldn't have clicked on, and when they clicked on it, they realized they shouldn't have clicked on it.
My thing actually is a hijacking thing on my computer right now. It's a hijacking. It hijacks your computer. Like, it's on it. They haven't hijacked anything yet. I'm looking at it. Are you kidding me? Not curious, man. You can essentially almost it's fact.
I'm not here. Let me keep on this. On this machine you're seeing hijacking?
It's close to getting hijacked because I had the stronghold on my backup, and it says it's a potentially unwanted program which is promoted via other free downloads, and while this program itself is not a virus, during its setup process users will prompt it to install.
So if it says that if you're getting that warning from whichever program it is, the antivirus program that's telling you that it's got junk associated with it, you've probably got a bunch of things in MS config that are running at startup. Okay? But do check the machines if somebody does tell you they got ransomware, and tell them it's good likelihood they've lost everything. Okay? That there's not anything you can do about it.
To start all over.
But there is a slight possibility that it could be the fake one out there that just pops up the FBI. Typically it's FBI or Department of Justice screen and tells you, because actually the one that pops up and says that the FBI has observed you having child pornography on your machine is the one I've seen several times be fake one on it. And that if you will send $300 to the Department of Justice via a green dot card, they won't bother to prosecute you for it, and that you'll be okay. Now, think about that. You're going to get off from a child pornography charge on just sending in $300 to the FBI, and they're going to be content and not charge you with it. Okay? And that they're going to send you a notice and tell you that they have observed it on your machine, and if you don't pay $300, they're going to come and arrest you for it.
Sucker born every minute, I guess.
And plenty of people do pay on that. FBI's recommendation actually is to pay the fee and hope that they'll send you the code. Because when I went to security conference in October, that the FBI cybersecurity unit was there at the conference and had their van there that they used to go in and check things and fix things and everything. And I was talking to the guy and asked him about it because that was right as I was dealing with a ransomware case. And the guy told me that the FBI's recommendation is pay the fee. And I'm going, what? That doesn't match with y'all's normal line of reasoning. Because if I get kidnapped and they come and tell you that I've been kidnapped and they want you to pay a ransom for me to be freed, The FBI is going to tell you don't pay the ransom, or that they're going to do some tricky maneuvers to set up on the whole thing, but not actually paying the ransom on it. That here, ransomware on the computer, they're taking an opposite attitude on the whole thing, which is rather strange. The other problem is there's not much we can do in the States about it, because most of the time that's occurring somewhere else in the world, typically Eastern Europe or Russia or Nigeria. And that you're not going to be able to do much on catching the people and doing anything to them there. So just be careful on that. Be careful on hitting on links and emails, okay? Particularly, it was a package, one of those package emails that says that FedEx or UPS had a problem delivering the package and they needed you to verify something on it or something. And she was actually expecting a package at that point through whichever service it was. It was talking on the phone to somebody when she read it. And would normally have never clicked on the link, but she was distracted on what she was doing as she was doing on it and did it. As it was, I did find on another drive she had sitting on there, it wiped out actually drives it saw on the machine, but it missed one somehow, and I got some of her information back for her. It didn't wipe everything. It doesn't wipe everything. It wiped all her documents and pictures. It didn't touch her QuickBook files. And so of the stuff that she was losing, the one thing she didn't lose was the thing she really couldn't afford to lose, because there was all her financial records.
I have a question, but I don't think I'm able to uninstall the Stronghold from this config because I have family safety that blocks things on my computer, so I don't get anything bad, and it blocks pop-ups and everything on other websites, so nothing bad happens. You know, it basically protects my computer, family safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be able to uninstall it because the family safety. It doesn't let me uninstall things.
And that doesn't sound like a real good program,
No,
but you would have to go.
It's Windows family safety.
Oh, it's on the Windows family safety, but Stronghold shouldn't be in family.
No, but it's on there. It's on my phone. It's not like when it's an old tab. It's switching sections. Stronghold all like that is there, and I can't even pull it up.
Then look in apps and features and see if it's listed in there and do an uninstall from it there. Okay, then you got to get with your parents that whoever installed family safety on your machine, you got to get with them for them to open it up to let you into it.
State line electronics and state line electronics and data center support. Ever seen it before?
Mm-mm.
Well, there's this guy that he fixed my computer and everything, but I have to go back there again probably and get in the admins for the password.
But whoever's got the administrator account, which should have been somebody at your house, would be able to get into that.
Yeah, I have to go by that place.
All right. Any questions on the ransomware? All right, let's talk about the troubleshooting process real quick right here. I'm not going to run over on us today because I really do need to go catch lunch before the few of y'all's next class. Because then as soon as I let out of that class, I got to go to Ringgold High and judge FBLA region today. I don't know.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. And I've got that in the midst of today too. So if you hear my phone vibrating, it's text coming in right and left on that, and I haven't dared look at Facebook page yet.
So you won't be here, so you won't be here after next class? You ain't gonna be here next class?
No, I'll be here next class. But when I'll finish next class, I'm headed over to the high school. Okay? And then it won't be till like 6 or so that I get to go eat. So I really do want to go catch lunch, and I got to sit there and judge a couple of competitions. And I need to be a little bit better alert when I'm doing that. So the troubleshooting process, they give it, is it a 4-step or a 5-step process? 4-step process. All right, they give it as a 4-step process of when you go through troubleshooting. And so somebody brings you a machine with a problem, calls you with a problem with their machine. I'm assuming I must have gotten one working right through text messages yesterday that Chrome wasn't working for them. Apparently I gave them a way around on it. They give you 4 steps that you would normally want to go through. Now, depending on what the problem is that you're dealing with, you may or may not do all 4 steps on it. But the first step being to identify the problem. Figure out what the real problem is. Okay? Because what they tell you is wrong with it may or may not be what's really wrong with it. And that they're just giving you a symptom in a lot of cases, and you got to figure out what's the problem behind that symptom. So we follow on that? So ask the user to describe the problem. Check any error messages they may be getting, ask them for those. And see if you can recreate the problem. So in a lot of cases that you're going to sit there and if they're having a problem, if you're getting to work with the person on it, get them to show you the problem as part of identifying it. And if they can show you the problem, then you've got a better understanding of it than what they say on it. And as they go through showing the problem, what will happen a fair amount of the time is either you will notice they've done something wrong in the process and solve it right there as they're showing you the problem, or 2, that they'll realize that they have been doing something wrong as they're going through telling you what they're doing. And all of a sudden we go, oops, I wasn't supposed to hit it this way, I hit it this way and I forgot. And they've just solved the whole problem on it. So it will take care of it some of the time for you, just identifying the problem of getting them to go through and show you on it. Okay? Find out what has changed since it was working, if anything was done since this last worked. Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't. Okay, but did they install a program? Did they install some other device on there that's goofed it up? Okay. Upgrading to Windows 10 and then wanting to play a DVD movie. If you did an upgrade, you got away with it. But if you get a machine that's Windows 10 new installed on it, DVD player is no longer on there. And that you got to explain to them that Microsoft no longer includes a DVD player. Now, there's some options to do on that, and that was actually a machine I had to work on this weekend for that. That's why I can name that one off right there. You can go out and you can get several different free programs that will play DVD for you, similar to what Windows Movie Player or whatever it was.
Media player.
Huh?
The Windows Media Player.
No, not Media. Media Player's still there, but the one that did the DVDs is no longer there.
I think it was built into Media Player.
Yeah.
They just took it out of Media Player.
Or they pulled it out of Media Player, but the movie part's no longer there. There's a reason for it. We're having to pay a license fee for being able to play DVDs because it's a patented thing on it that they didn't own the license, and so they were having to pay per each copy of Windows out there. Well, think about it on a lot of machines now of your newer laptops, etc. They don't have DVD drives on them anymore. And that in a lot of cases, how are you watching movies? You're streaming them, not getting a DVD to play of it. So they're going, it's not used that much anymore, so we're not going to, that increase their profit margin or cut the cost of selling it to you, okay? And remember, they gave us Windows 10 for a year, okay? And so that saved them some money on it. Now, I suspect it wasn't much they paid per license, but a penny on each one adds up to some real money on Microsoft. So establish that of what changes to the configuration has occurred. One of the things, and see what all could have caused the problem. Okay? So you're just identifying the problem there, but in the midst of identifying exactly what's gone wrong, it may be a giveaway to you anyway of what's happened without even proceeding on down. Second thing they have is back up the system. That's the step I would tell you that a lot of times does not get done. Okay? And in a lot of cases, you're really not needing to back up the system. Because if it's some device piece in there that's not going to affect about the hard drive or whatever that you're trying to figure out if it's gone bad or whatever, you're not going to affect the hard drive anyway, so backing it up's not deadly critical there. Most of the time, repair people are not going to back up the system. If you're taking a computer in, or you know somebody taking a computer to a computer shop to be worked on, get them to back up the stuff first. I've known people that mailed their computer off to the manufacturer thinking they would get the same machine back and that they weren't going to lose anything. And they get shipped a different machine because when it comes in, all the place does there is they grab the ones that work now and put it over in a stack to get fixed or trashed later. So do back it up, even if you're taking it to the local repair shop or somebody's bringing it to just you sitting there on the side. They ought to have a copy of their stuff in case something happens to it. Backups are important. Third one is identify possible causes and identify a theory of probable cause. So back to we've identified the problem in one. Now look at what's the possible causes of that problem. Think about what all could have caused that problem and then on it. And a lot of cases there's only one. You know, all right, whatever it is, this has got to be whatever. Now sometimes you know it's got to be whatever and turns out to be something different. And then figure out what the theory of the probable cause is. So check for your simple and obvious common problems first. And there I would go with, like it says right here, it says check power cords. Very first thing, if somebody tells you it won't turn on, have them check and see if it really is plugged in. B, if it is, their monitor won't come on. A, is it plugged in an outlet that's live? Did they turn off the power strip by accident? The cleaning person came through and bumped the on-off switch and turned it off. Or in the power converter adapter on there, remember it comes apart on most of them that the cord will pull out of that. Make sure that's plugged in tight too, because I worked on one this weekend that I got a call about their monitor wouldn't come on. And I went to look at it. Now I looked to see if it was plugged in. It was plugged in the outlet. The outlet was live. And then I looked on down the cord and it was loose right there. I pushed that back in and guess what? I'd solved the whole problem for them. And so, relatively simple. So identify those. Once you've got that theory of the probable cause, then test your theory on how to fix that one. Make the changes that are necessary to try it. See if it works. If it does, you're in good luck. If it's not, you've got to go back and figure out another cause and keep looping through there. So you're going to sort of spend your time sitting on 3 and 4. Step 5 that they don't give you there, that most places would tell you to do also, is document it. Whatever you found wrong with it, write it down so you'll remember. Particularly if it's something unusual, write it down, or something that you think you may be seeing again, write it down and know what in the world you came up with.
There's 4 more.
Is there 4 more down it? Okay, I thought there should be. There we go. All right, so figure out the cause, try it, create an action plan so that you're going to address the thing. about how are you going to see, and then what side effects could occur when you do this. And this is the point where you may need to think back to, do you need to back it up further? Okay? Test the solution, try it, make sure it does work. If it works, then try a few other things and make sure it works on it. Yesterday, with the one I was getting a call about, was Chrome wasn't working on the machine I had worked on this weekend, which actually was a DVD issue on it. And when I got that installed and did a little other cleaning on the machine, and I'm not sure if, because I was going through another person talking to them, not sure if it worked for them when they got it back, or if it was after they got it back and then it suddenly threw an error on there, which is a common error on Chrome about the registry on it. And so, but I told them several ways they can start Chrome, and told them they could actually go straight to run chrome.exe, and I actually will get around where it does that registry issue on it. And they didn't ever call me last night because I told them call me and that I'd talk to them on the phone through it. I'm guessing that got it working for them. That solved the problem for them temporarily, and then when they can get me the machine, I can fix the other, because I'm not going to tell them about how to go into registry or anything else, or uninstall, reinstalling, and making a few changes in that. It's going to be above their level. So make sure it does work satisfactorily, because after I had installed the DVD program, I know I was still in Chrome, that I rebooted it and actually did some other updates on their machine for them. Windows 10, it's not as much problem on that, but if you're on a machine prior to Windows 10, check to see if they need updates run also in the process. And that sometimes that'll solve some of their problems too, that where updates didn't occur automatically. Windows 10, it's updating always on its own, which irritates me at times. That I wished we could set it to with more control on it.
Yeah, if you don't update, it will eventually remove that option to not restart it. They'll just tell you, hey, we're starting in 15 minutes. Get ready.
But because they've got in there where you can tell it that you don't want it to restart during certain hours, but you only get to choose an 8-hour window on that, which is the same all 5 days a week, and some machines are actually actively used at more than 8 hours a day, and that you don't want it rebooting in the middle of that stuff. Just like my machine at church, that trying to pick thing on it because it's used there on Sunday morning at 9 and 11 o'clock. It's also used on Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock, and used some other times for other programs coming in and using the church. And you don't want it rebooting during one of the service things, or during a wedding if it's playing pictures for the wedding or whatever. You don't want the thing all the same way rebooting at that point. But you can't choose a big enough variety on that, because things at the church don't happen in just an 8-hour window. They're thinking of a regular work environment, but that's not quite true. And then they don't let you set it day to day. If they would let you choose 8 hours each day, would help on that. But you choose the same 8 hours for every day of the week. Hopefully they'll get better on it. So do make sure the stuff works. So the ensure satisfaction. Also make sure with whoever you were fixing it for that it did work for them. Okay? Now sometimes you don't get to show it to them or whatever. In case of that machine, it was passing through a third party back to the person. So I didn't get to let them turn it on and try the machine to see if it still worked fine for them. But hopefully I solved it for them via text messages yesterday. And then probably look at the thing again this weekend to, if that is what they're having to do, to get it where it works more convenient for them, where they just click the button on it. And then the last one there, which I was mentioning before because I didn't realize it scrolled on down on there, that they had broken it up quite like that. is document the solution and process, so that when you hit the same problem in the future, you've got something about it. So that some things I've hit along the way that were typically the ones that were harder to figure out what was on it, that I may well have it written down or printed out the page of directions I found about how to solve whatever was the issue. Things like that one of this weekend of the DVD, no, I didn't write it down, but I know I can easily go back out and Google that one, but I'll probably remember that one anyway. But it was real quick finding it on Google to know what was the problem when I went. That movie wouldn't play with DVD and Windows 8 and Windows 10, I mean, and that real quick I had a whole bunch of places telling me it didn't work and suggesting several freeware things to use. And so there wasn't something they had to buy to add on there. And when I tried to download it, one of them, I don't remember which program it was, that it worked perfectly fine, that the movie played just like it should have played. All right, questions on the troubleshooting process? No questions? Y'all got the steps down? In other books, you'll see that quite often broken down into a 5-step process. I say backup wouldn't be in there. Ensure satisfaction quite often is included into the bottom, and they really don't, a lot of places don't ever mention that step to you, but it's sort of inferred into the bottom step of the document, the solution, and process, and make sure it really does work right. And so you'll see it sometime, a lot of times more broken down to 5 steps on it. And that there's a couple of steps you can combine out of that on there. There's actually 4 and 5. Of the combined one also, a lot of them. But they have split it out into 2 things there, where most others combine those together, that they see creating an action plan and testing the solution is sort of the same, along with testing your theory, that's all doing the same type thing, and they've got us. Because I'm really not sure about test your theory and then create an action plan. I'd create an action plan and then that's where my theory is. So, but that's their logic. Questions on that? And really from this point on, where we're going through the rest of the book on it after 2, is we're going to be seeing, working with the different parts of the computer and how they fit together and what you do with them. So we get into the other type stuff from here on, where this was more the theoretical in the first 2 chapters. So it gets more into, once we get past this point, more into what you really thought you were coming in this class to do. So sitting here and hearing about what a technician does wasn't part of what you were really looking forward to hearing about. And then what the steps are to troubleshoot the machine. Yeah, but that was just going to be part of the course, but actually how do you get the devices to work together and what the devices are and stuff is really what you came in here to learn about. So probably for most of you it'll get more interesting next week on it. Questions on that? Because that's got 2 covered. We already did 1. You've got a test to do on chapters 1 and 2. That's due by Monday. Okay? And that pops up for you there in the course there for you. It's a custom test on mine. I'm not sure how it shows on yours, but you should see it right there. When you go in, that you've got a test available for you. Any questions on that? And then on that custom test, it's not got any simulations on it. It's just basically multiple choice questions. I didn't choose any sims for you to be doing. So you don't have to worry about that, where they've had you do some simulations and stuff. I don't have simulations on the test. that they're straightforward type questions. Any questions?
Can we take apart a smartphone?
Hmm?
Can we take apart a smartphone if we're not doing anything else? Because I want to see the inside of them. Also, I want to see how to take them apart because you have one somewhere. Somewhere, I promise. I saw one.
I haven't taken one apart.
Really?
I tried to film miserably.
Hmm?
But I tried and failed miserably.
Because I tend to stay with desktops really and do some with laptops, but I'm not real good on putting them back together. So I'm a little doing something inside a phone I've been a little weary of doing, and nobody's really asked me to do stuff on them yet. All right. If not, I will see y'all on Monday. Except for those of you that I'll see in a couple hours.